Well, while Steve is finishing up, I'll just state what might be obvious to those of you who have received the poster online that this is part of the Black Gods and Kings lecture series, which is associated with the class that I'm teaching, and with a website that we're mounting called The Sacred Arts of the Black Atlantic. And I'm inviting in a number of priests whom I've known from between 5 years and 25 years, no, more than that, 35 years, to talk about their respective religions and about the spiritual things that improve their lives. And of course, Baba Esteban is the first of our speakers. Next week, on Thursday, a Haitian Vodou priestess of the highest order, Mambo Asogwe, Marie Mose Evans, will be coming. And a Brazilian priest of Candomblé will be coming on the 17th. Hamilton Sacramento Costa, who is a Candomblé priest of the highest order of the Jeje Nation. And then Talabi Adedoyin Faniyi, who is the chief priestess of the Oshun Shrine and Grove at Oshogo, will be coming and speaking on December the 1st. And on the Saturday following each of these lectures, there will be a ritual at my house to which you are all invited. So just let me know of your interest and I'll give you the address. So with that, I'd like to introduce my old friend Esteban Quintana, who is a santero, that is a priest of the Cuban Santeria or Ocha religion, who was initiated 36 years ago in 1982. He is a fine artist and a graphic artist, especially concerned with graphics and publicity about entertainment and music. He's done album covers, posters for shows, for dance performances. He was born in Havana in 1939, and he moved to New York City in 1957 at the age of 16. And he moved to Boston subsequently. He moved to Brooklyn in 1957 and Boston in 1987 after 30 years in New York. And he's received much coverage in the Boston Globe, letting the greater Boston community know about Santeria and the roles of Santeros in the urban community. He has been deeply involved with another project called the Boston Healing Landscapes Project, directed by Linda Barnes, who is a public health specialist who wants allopathic physicians, surgeons and primary care physicians and other specialists to understand the other healing systems and understandings of life and death that their patients also participate in. So she has rabbis, pastors, priests of Roman Catholicism and of Buddhism and of Muslims and of Afro-Atlantic religions, training physicians to help them understand better traditions that are normally not taken account of in hospitals and clinics, both because these traditions help people to heal physically and because they help people to understand the medical conditions, the conditions of birth and the conditions of death that shape people's understanding of health and medical care and can improve their health care through an understanding of the spiritual context of their religious practices. So Steve has been a major actor in that project. I met Steve in 1991, and I think that was the occasion of my first invitation for him to speak at Harvard, where he spoke 3 times in this lecture series, which I run just about every 5 years, and he's always a great hit. This is his 2nd time speaking here at Duke, and you will hear a new set of angles on a different topic and on a different set of objects. So with that, I take great pleasure and pride in introducing Baba Esteban Quintana.
I'm so glad that also we have some brothers and sisters of the same religion, you know, at least practitioners. You know, we have been talking before we started about the complication of having the community of this religion together, to be able to practice the religion together and get the hangover of the so many aspects of this religion. And then sometimes you are far away. I mean, New York City is like the Mecca of the Santeria in the United States. And when there was no Santeros any other place in the United States, there was all of them in New York and New Jersey. And many of them now travel to, move to Florida, and now Florida is very strong in regards to Santeria and all the culture of the African religion. But the most important thing is that I'm so glad that we have a lot of people who is interested in knowing a little bit about our culture, of what this is actually, not just the religion, it's our culture, it's a history of the African diaspora, you know, how that we was introduced to the different countries, like all the Caribbeans, the New England and New England, New Orleans, South America, North America, all the coast have received a lot of the slaveries in that time. And they've been established in Colombia, Brazil, Venezuela, you know, all these coasts. Panama has tremendous amount of blacks, and this is a religion that has been injected into our countries just because we came in, and we didn't come in with a passport. We came in, they brought us out to work like slaves. And to me, it's very proud to be sitting in Harvard and Duke and Boston University, UMass, Northeastern, and explaining about our culture. This is my pride. My pride is to pass the little of the religion that I practice to others, the best I can. I'm coming from an old house of Babalaos. I had the chance and the honor of meeting the first Babalaos that came into the United States from Cuba. Pancho Mora, Victor Garcia, my godfather, Bebo Morales, Rigoberto Leonard, you know, he said there was about around 7 or 8 of them. And the good thing about it that time is that they was working together. That is important because we cannot see this today. We don't share our knowledge. We don't share our work together in this religion, and that is the reason why I am here. You know, I could be working in New York, but once he called me, I'm ready to pack up, you know, and go, because I like to share what we do have. And now, this is not a very big war. The world is small. I mean, her godmother is my sister, and it's the youngest. She did Ocha 1 year before I did, and it's the same godmother. And that is what is great on this religion. You know, keeping us together in one way or the other. It's like blood related, you know. And the most important thing is that what we had at the lecture yesterday, or what we talked yesterday, was in regards to the customary things in this religion. You know, how we get to the religion and how we contact the religion. And there was a book that they was talking, and there was some question about the legitimate of that writing that they was using, and there were some things that we left for today to explain about what I know about this religion. And I went with Andy, and we found a few things that will help me to pass it over to everybody. And we were talking about the ego part of this religion. We all do have that connection. We all do have our ancestors, and we have to really recognize it. Doesn't matter if it's a black and white. We all have our ancestors, grandfathers. Sometimes they are connected with the religion or not, but the spirit of those are the ones who work with us. And sometimes when we need to their help, what we have to do is contact them. And how we do that is by practicing the spiritual mass. Sometimes they need connection of the round table, the white table. Sometimes it's making a mass in the church, you know, and whatever church they believe or they practice. And that is the beginning of any religion that we do practice. We call them the conguitos. In Cuba, the slavery had to struggle to maintain our culture. They had to, we was used to liberate the island from the Spanish, and in many aspects we was practicing that religion behind the Christianity. And in my opinion, I will not refuse to accept the Christianity, because if it wasn't because the Christian saint, we will not be able to have the origins being practiced today. That's one thing that doesn't matter how much we can say, you know, we don't need them. Yeah, we do respect them. We may not need them, but we respect them. And in the old time, the old people was calling Santa Barbara, we're gonna crown Santa Barbara instead of be Babaes, Chango. And that was the whole history of this religion. It was hiding, you know, we was calling them syncretism of what called the Christianity together with the Afro religion. And what we brought here, this is the conguitos, and this is the different kinds. This is a couple old people that we can actually call them whatever we were like, but majority of the time they are spirits. And we communicate by giving them the right of being baptized by one of the spirits. And sometimes I do have even white santeras that are crowned, and they do pay a lot of respect to the conguitos because they've been exposed to the help. This can be used in Santeria or in Palo. It is the fact that it's an African with a rooster in the hands. If you notice, it can be applied to Ogum, that can be applied to Chango, that can be applied to Sarabanda, for example. Whatever it is being baptized to or recognized by the name of its spirit, Egum, what we call them. And in Africa they call them Egum. And that is actually in our language we use it to communicate with the ancestors. And we do have communication with the figures, because the figures take over the 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 ancestorship of the orishas of the spirits, and this here.
Sorry, and these are slave spirits, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually from the slavery time, and it's very respected back home, and in the islands, in Brazil, in Haiti. My opinion is I would not take anything from anybody who has a figure, and they put a lot of effort and a lot of belief in that figure, and you don't take it away from them, because eventually, sometime, you dream with your grandmother, and she probably would like to be sitting in a chair like this, so you call her the name of your grandmother. And that is the way that we are taking the figures and we give them the identity. And what I'm going to jump into that segment is in regards to the palo. That trail goes with a lot of figures as well. And there are two different worlds. There are two different roots. You have the Santeria, what we call Santeria is the Yoruba, or the Lukumi, what we call them. And we have those the Orishas, that's the firstborns for us. And in the Palo roots is Palo Mayombe, what we call it. It has a lot to do with the spiritual part of this religion. And sometimes we are Santeros and we do have our own culture. And the reason that Randy and I, we decided to bring in a sample of what is a cauldron for the echo. Even though those is not all the authentic situation that is in here, but at least to give a view of what the Palo Mayombe is introduced to us. And this is coming from the Congo. This is actually similar to the Yoruba. They're familiar with the religion. They practice with the herbs, and they practice with everything that is in Congo. It has to do with Mother Nature. So that is one thing that is familiar with our Santeria, our Yoruba religion. The story of the people in Cuba was divided in houses. And the house of Palo, there was a house of Palo. And the other house of Santeria, there was another house of Santeria. And those, they had their own godmother and godfather, they had their own babalaos. And there were three segments that we do have. And that is the Santero, and the babalao, and the palero. And they all work together. Sometimes the same palero is using the babalao, or the Santero use the babalao. But there are three family that is working together. And that is the reason why in New York City or in Miami, we have all kind of brought up situation. I mean, we find houses of very distinguished Santeros, very old traditional Santeros, and you find old traditional babalaos over there. And the oldest is gone. And I had the privilege of knowing almost all of them. And one good thing that I had to talk about them is how they used to work together. Is the pride of this religion when we can work together. and that was a good lesson for me. If we can actually respect each other and work together with each other. I just met him, and he has the same guardian angel that I am, and I don't know him, but he's like a brother of me, and I respect his work. I respect his Orisha, and I respect Orula of what that is important to us. So we have a subterranean. We was gonna bring other things, but we thought that what we do is we bring in Ochun, Sopera, that's what we call the subterranean. It's a very gorgeous design, and they have the roars, you know, the remos. That's what Ochun use in the river. And we have another Orisha who is a river also, and that is Oya, Yansa. And the church is La Candelaria, La Virgen de la Candelaria, of what is a very, very powerful Orisha. And used to be the wife of Ogun, and left Ogun and went behind Chango, and created a tremendous amount of problem in the history of them. It was, you don't imagine what happened. The two brothers fighting each other for the same woman, and she chose on Chango, and she was behind Chango in all the battles. So that is one of the oldest history of that religion. And Chango was the pretty boy of the town. All the women was after him. Ochun, Oya, all the women was looking to get into Chango. And Chango had his whole wife, that was Oba. And it created a tremendous amount of problem in between Chango and his wife and all these other women. But that is the history of this religion, and that is what we can talk about. I mean, there are a lot of other pataquis that we can actually come out with, but I don't think I have the time. I'm just touching only the most well-known things, you know, that we should know. But Ochun is the goddess of love. She is the goddess that represents the love in between man and a woman, and man with man, woman with man, anybody. She is the protector of the children in the womb. She is the protector of the child after it's been born. She is the wealth woman. Ochun is the most important, one of the most important Orishas that we do have in the patron and the phantom of the Orishas. And it is perhaps most important. She is the one that we're taking when we've been dry, when we've been ready to be crowned, to be cleaned up. I mean, she is the owner of the sweet waters of the river. And another thing also, she is the wealth. She owns all the wealth in lifetime. It is perhaps also the owner of the house. She is the landlady, practically. So we have a tremendous amount of Yemaya, who is the mother of mothers, who is the first woman in the earth. She was the one who came in when the creativity was not even done. It is Yemaya, the one who covered the ground that was lava, because the volcano of Agayu was in life. So it is important to know the most basic Orishas. There are many Orishas. There are many of them we don't even practice. But we using the one that we know and that was more popular for us.
So Babasti, you were going to share with us how the spirits of the enslaved help us to progress in life and how they differ from, for example, the Orishas, who used to be poor and became rich. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, the point of the progress and starting with the black is that when we was this dedicated to take care of the spirits. The majority of the black in that time was either as slaves or got out of slavery, and the poverty was great. So either the spirits or the Orisha is helping us to get out of the poverty and see to it that we can go into a future in our life. So why is the reason that we do get godchildren in the house? Why is the reason that everybody knocking on our door and they're looking for help from us? And one thing is because majority of the time they need either a good job or they need to control the husband in the house or control the children or finding a future or saving their own house. That is many reasons why people come over to us to look for the help. And that is the reason why the house grows. Because a lot of people, once they see some result in what they're looking for, they dedicate themselves to practice the religion. And that is one thing that is important to know. And at least in my house, I don't work all by myself. I don't think I am Superman. I do believe in Ifa. And I perhaps being that I'm born in this religion in a house of Orula, I take my godchildren to Ifa to be read with Orula, because it is important in this religion to maintain that connection, the Santero with the Babala. That is important. One thing that I see is students coming in and they have problems coping with the exam, and there always is an Orisha who help them out to achieve that exam. And it doesn't matter what religion they are coming from, because I seen it Jewish people, white Anglos, they're coming in from different aspects, different churches, and when they have a problem, sometimes they knock on the door and they're looking for a help. And that is the reason why we are standing today. Why is it that from the 50s, we had the first Santeros and the Santeras in New York City, and now today we have several thousands or couple of million people following this religion. I mean, so far right now, it's not been a survey about how many of this religion practice it is, but not only the one who practices it, but also the one who really is into the religion. And what he's saying is that he wants for us to express the idea how a poor person can find a way out by getting the help from the Orishas, and that's for the spirits as well. So it is no stop in any manner. I mean, the first thing that we tell a person for you to get out of the poverty or problems is recognize that you have an ancestor who probably is working with you, who is giving you the help. I mean, you have to reach out to them and show them how. Sometimes it takes a cup of water, put a photograph of the ancestor, some flowers, and create some prayers from the Bible. So sometimes they are the Bible, or it's any other culture. But it is important that we contact our ancestors. Without the ancestorship, this religion is naked. it is important, and that I go to Randy's house and I see his ancestors that belong to his family and his wife, and that is a pleasant thing to see, that he's taking care of those who were there before him. That is important. They are so grateful to him. They were making being the president of the United States. Why not? You never know. You never know.
Pays better than being a professor, I guess.
You don't know who helped Obama. You don't know if it was an ancestor who helped Obama.
It's
From Africa. Okay? So we have to really be realistic on that.
Yes, okay, good.
Okay? So we're not going to be blind in any possible way. Okay?
Yes.
We gotta accept the truth of this religion.
Yes.
If we forget our ancestors, no matter if it was poor people, hardworking men, maybe a drunkard, maybe was a street guy that was ancestral. When he passed away, that spirit can help a lot of people.
And you're saying that we can use figurines like this to represent the
They
ancestors.
represent them, to recognize them.
And we can baptize them to become the ancestors.
Baptize them. I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit of holy water, some herbal water, light of a candle, some flour, and that spirit will be grateful that we're taking care of them.
And does the spirit come to live inside the
Oh, the
figurine?
spirit will be there. You probably will be dreaming with him. And sometimes we just tell them, put a cup of water, to your ancestors, to take care of business.
Yeah.
And they can come over to Santeria, who we have a lot of power, but maybe it is an ancestor who is going to give them what they need.
So Baba Steve, you were also telling me in the last few days about certain Orishas who began as poor, despised people.
Oh, that started with Elegua. Elegua was the street man.
Right.
Elegua was a street man. This is Elegua. So, that is Elegua. Echu. That Echu is born in 1960. He's coming from my godfather, Direto de Shangolari. And I'm so proud of him because every time I open the door in the morning and I say good morning and I ask him what I need, 90% of the time I get what I need. And that is the truth of this. This religion without Elegua is nothing. Without Echu is nothing. And we have to really the reality is that he is the most youngest of all the Orishas and the most poorest of all of them. He was mistreated by everybody because he was a street guy, a drinker, living in the streets, running around doing nothing. And he was a savvy man. He was, when one of the Orishas was sick, they was calling him to solve the problem. When there was a problem in town, something was happening, the Elegua is the one who solved the problem. So that is what we have in fact of this religion, that a lot of people will question what will help me personally in life. You probably have a child or a grandchild who is in the wrong way, and you don't know what to do because they don't listen to the elders. And you go into this religion, and the one that I'm going to go first is Elegua. Elegua is the one who consults everybody. He is the one who connects with all the Orishas. He is the secretary of this religion. He is the secretary of state. Definitely. He is the one who connects with everybody in the house. From Obatala down, who is the oldest, from Obatala down, El Leguá is the one who will sing the truth of what we need to do for anybody who needs a job. And when we do have a person that needs to do an offering to one of the orishas, who we ask El Leguá? It's El Leguá, the one who give us who we have to go. And majority of the time when we have a problem, very deep problem, and has to be a spiritual problem or voodoo or witchcraft that they done to somebody, we go to Egun. And Egun and the Palo will clear things out before we do anything with the orishas. That is the raw truth of this religion. That's the reason why in Cuba we practice both religions.
So is the spirit of Palo also a slave?
Oh yeah. That's the reason why they call him in here the word nigger. We was niggers. There was all workers obligated to work. And I'm talking about in any island. I got the whole story of Puerto Rico, and who cut the sugar in Puerto Rico was the slaves. That was no white folks. It was the slaves in any part of the United States who was the one who worked in the cotton field and the sugar field and the ground. Every food that everybody was eating was done by slaves. So we cannot disregard that word, slavery. And we probably don't see it happen every day in the old way, but a lot of people are still thinking that they're still in the path of slavery. And that stopped them from progressing. And I think that the recommendation that we do have is that people should be learning about the culture. And once they learn about the culture will get them out of that. Because our culture was free of our slavery once they gave us the freedom to save the island in Cuba. That's what we call the Grito de Yara. They gave us the freedom because the first war was lost with the Spaniards, and they had to give them the freedom to a slave. This way they can go and fight. And that's the reason why we fought to the Spaniards in Cuba, and we got them out. That's the truth. So we have to really be proud of actually even being black. I am proud of being black. A lot of people see me dressed in white in the winter. They say, what are you doing? You look like the ice cream man. You know? I am the ice cream man, I'm the sweet man. You know, this is actually the way the priests dressed up in black. We dressed in white. Why? Because the purity. And most of it, we are the son of Obatala, like him. He is the son of Obatala. She is the daughter of Obatala. And we should be dressing up in white sometime during the week. That clear our thoughts, clear out our arm. They're giving us the role to go in. It's important.
So, Babasti, you were also going to talk about another Santo or Oricha who was humiliated and who started out poor and mistreated.
Well, you have Babaluaye, who was the most sicker and the most unhealed. There was a smelling because he had leper. And we compare it with San Lazaro in the Catholic Church. And he was so poor and everybody was knocking him down. They didn't want to take care of him because they thought that what he had was congested. Contagious. So Olofi said, you know, I mean, you're going to be a great man, and I'm going to give you your own land. So across the river, you're going to have your own land. So he became a king of his own land. And he became the healer of the whole area. So that's the reason why Babaluaye used the most humblest cloth. He is not in gold and silver. He is the most poorest of all the cloth. And with that is what we say in people's life. When someone has an illness, we prepare a book, what we call cleansing, with the burlap cloth, and we clean them up with that. And that is the way that this religion is taken as the poor people religion. All the Orishas, in one way or the other, had money. They had their own land. That's the reason why they feel in many aspects powerful, because they had their own money and their own thing. But there was time in the history where the father of Batala was sick, and no one wanted to tell anything to Elegua. Elegua is always drunk in the streets. He's not going to pay attention to Papa. So what happened is that everybody was trying to do everything to heal the father, and the father still was sick. So Elegua listened to that he was sick, and he went at nighttime when no one was there, and he went through the window, and he said, Papa, why didn't you call me? He said, no one told you that I was sick. And I said, no one told me. So he came in and he took out some herbs and gave it to Batala, and he saved Batala. So when everybody came in the morning, good morning, Father, how are you feeling? I said, I'm feeling fine, thanks to Elegua. You people didn't even told him that I was sick. So he's the one who healed me. So from now on, everybody has to pay attention to Elegua, no matter who you are. Could be Yemaya, could be or Chung, could be Oya, could be anybody. Everybody has to pay attention. So when we do a ceremony, we have to pay attention to Elegua first. He's the one who be first being fed. And in this religion, the one who will receive first is Elegua, for that matter, because he's the one who opens up the road for everybody.
So is it a fair generalization that the Orishas, who used to be the poorest and the most humble, are now the ones who are first served and who can best heal you?
And that is a teaching to everybody. Well, we should be homeless. We should be humble, just like all the Orishas who've been poor in their life. And we get the ache, what we call the luck from him, when we act the same way. A lot of people think, because I am better than everybody else and I got plenty of money. And what tells us that money is not all in life. Okay, bro.
Are the formerly humble and poor Orishas better at healing than the ones who are always rich?
No, they all have the same power. The only problem is how you will be accepting the fact that whoever you're going to knock on the door to help you out, you have to show your humbleness, your
humility,
your humanity, and your understanding. And sometimes you have to help out somebody else to helping yourself. It's important. Okay? So that's what teach me this religion. I mean, we're not better on what some other people has a $70,000 salary and another person who has a $10,000 salary. But they all human, and we all brothers and sisters in the earth. And sometimes when we have a problem, that person who is a 10,000, he may save our problem. And that is what they're teaching us in this religion. Sometimes, so I got some guy children and say, well, you don't charge enough. Well, what can I do? What I can do is helping anybody. And if they solve the problem, they should go back to me and put something in there. This way, next time you will not be in the same situation. It's as simple as that. It's like going to a doctor and they say you, who will remember the doctor who operated them in a gallbladder or something, and in Christmas they send them a thankful note? No one does that. No one does that.
True.
It's perhaps the forgotten situation that in OCHA we cannot forget about our godmother and godfather. And how many of you know that they've been crowned and they don't even have contact with their godfather or godmother? Hey, you don't forget your mother and your father who create you. So in this relation, the godmother and the godfather is the same thing. When you need them, they're supposed to be there for you. No matter if it's money or no money. It should be that way. That is what we're teaching in this religion.
Now, Papa Steve, there was something very interesting you told me last night about why, even though you are a son of Obatala, who does not naturally gravitate toward the eguns, you acquired some prendas, some palo spirits.
Yeah.
Why?
Because we all in a war. We always have a war. And it doesn't matter if it's a fair war, but sometimes envious, the human being envy, create a lot of enemies in lifetime. And sometimes I do my work, but I got a lot of people who envy me. I don't know if they hatred, but it's envy. And they're all thinking because they saw icons in the Grove and Ford Foundation, and they call me on television and all that.
And because you lectured at Harvard,
man. You know, and I'm having a lot of money. And that's not the truth. I still have to work and pay my rent like everybody else. And I'm already retired, and I still have to work.
So how do the prendas help you?
No, the prendas giving us a security. The same thing that we deal with the spirits, that is a powerful ego. For example, Sarabanda, or Mother of Water. Mother of Water is related with my mother, who is Yemaya. So for me to sit down in the morning and talk to them and bring them some coffee and a little bit of rum or wine, that will make me a lot more guaranteed that I'm cleared out of any envy or any problems. See? And when anybody has a problem, sick one, or a problem with court, or a problem with enemies or something, I take it over to Sarabanda first. Sarabanda take away anything. And sometimes Sarabanda tells me, after I clean it up, you have to go to Yumaya, you have to go to Batala, you have to go to Legua. That is the problem.
And that prenda over there would be for Siete Rayo, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little about Siete Rayo?
I don't own Siete Rayo, but Sarabanda, Siete Rayo, Madre Agua, Carunga, there are a lot of the prendas who has the relation with the orishas. Ogun is Sarabanda. Siete Rayo comes from Shango. Right? So the whole thing is that we crossing up another river to learn another powerful secret. There is regard for all of us to receive it when we need them. Because I don't recommend everybody to have everything in their house. Sometimes you may have a need to have at least 3 or 4 room apartment like I do, that I'm struggling to pay because I have to have them in one room, and I have my orishas room. And that is the fact of life.
You told me last night, Baba Steve, that a prenda or a Congo spear in the caldero, like Siete Rayo, will not make you rich, but it will protect you. What did you mean by that?
wrong.
Okay.
There are people who work with the prenda, and they live a life very comfortably because they are designated to work on the prenda. It's like the babalao. The babalao works Ifa, and is respected in that sense. And whoever knocks on his door is going to Ifa to take care of business with Ifa. And that is important. And sometimes he had to say, you have to go to Chum or Yemaya, like Orula who's saying. Or maybe he had to do a bow with Orula. Or maybe you had to receive the necklace and the day. And that is what each segment of this religion, it has the authority.
So the prenda will protect you from envious people, but it can also help you to prosper.
Oh yeah. Oh, any orisha, if you can even have a legua alone in your house. You take care of him, he take care of you. Okay? You don't let him be hungry because he's gonna make you hungry. Otherwise, it's gonna make you lose your job, have problems, get sick, broke a car, crash your car, somebody steal your money. Hey, you take care of me, I'll take care of you. Simple as that. That is language.
Language?
That is the language. The language is a Lewa was mistreated all his life.
Yes.
It was a story of Jemaya. He was living with Jemaya, and Jemaya was the consultor, and that time she was on the Dilobun. So everybody was knocking on the door.
Shells for divination.
Yeah, so everybody knocking on the door. Boom, boom. Elewa, Jemaya is home. Yeah, she's home. Come in. Boom. Boom, boom. Elewa, Jemaya is home. Yeah, come in. And then there was a time where Elewa said, nobody take care of me, and nobody give me to eat, or nothing. So, people, boom. Elewa, Jemaya is home. I said, no, she's traveling. Tum, Yemaya is home? No, she's gone. So, Yemaya said, what the heck is this? I don't have no food for nothing. So she went to Orula. Orula said, you know what you have to do? You have to ask Lewa what he wants. Because you're not taking care of Lewa. He said, oh yeah, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, you should know that. So she went over to Lewa and said, Lewa, what do you want? Said, oh, I want my chicken, and I want my red palmore, I want my honey, and I want my candy, and I want you to take care of me every Monday. So now, he's been taking care of himself. Everybody, and then what? Yemaya is home? Yeah, come in. That's the whole story. They're telling us, how we take care of Lewa. Lewa is the everything. He's actually taking care of our children, taking care of the woman, the womb of the woman. Lewa is the trigger man. He is the policeman. If someone is knocking, thinking to rob you, Lewa will trick that guy. Okay? He may be arrested getting before your door. Okay? That is the reason why a lot of people has a lot of problems, and because they don't have a Lewa. That is something that we have to teach everybody. And I'm not saying that now as an Episcopalian church visitor or participator who wants to get involved in Yoruba religion. But we're not obligating anybody, and we're not looking at what color or what nationality or what religion you practice. But if you come over to the house, I'm not looking at the details. I just ask Lewa that she has to do a Lewa, that she has to have it, and then we have to do it.
Yeah. So, Baba Steve, what I hear you saying is there are slave spirits in these religions, and their main importance is that we have to recognize and call on our ancestors if we want to progress in life. And there are some orishas who used to be very poor and humble and mistreated, but the way that they rose in the world gives them special powers. And we especially need to call upon Elegua as a spirit of humility. We have to be
Yes.
humble like him,
Yes.
and we have to give the small person his due if
Yeah.
we want our due.
Yeah, yeah, that's as simple as that. Sometimes you're walking on a street and you see a stone, and that's an issue. That stone, you probably pick it up and, oh, I like it. This is so beautiful colors, so polished. You take it home, and it happens that is issue. So issue now is on your house. Now you take care of him, and you put some candy, you put some sweetness, and you put some rum, blow some rum, and say, oh, smoke a cigar. And he's a drinker. If you don't give him rum, he's not having everything that he needs. Okay? And when you give him rum, he give you everything. It's like a legua, when it's being born. You have to put a legua, everything that he needs inside. This way, a legua has his power to help you out. And a legua, whatever belongs to you is not going to belong to her. Belong to you. And when you die, we have to ask where he go.
And you also talked about the palo spirits, or the prendas,
Yeah.
like Siete Rayo down there.
Right.
And you said that you had to get several prendas because of envy.
Yeah.
Because if people around you
Yeah.
envy you, they can hurt you.
And now they know that I have it, but they're still working. But I'm still standing up with 77 years of age. And let them do whatever they want to. I got my backup. I got my army. This is actually what the blessing of this religion. I've been seeing people with 40 years of age in the wheelchair. And probably they had a rough life. But a lot of people who came into me who had a lot of rough life, they was able to change their life. And that is the gratefulness of this religion. Sometimes we say, we're talking about Santeria all the time, I know. I belong to different organizations. I belong to the Lions Club. I belong to parties of politicians. I work with anti-Castro organization in Cuba, in Boston. I am involved in other things that is not Santeria, but my career, my expertise is being a Santero. And I make sure that everybody knows who I am, because I'm not going to hide my religion for no one. I don't see no Jewish people hiding their own religion. And I don't see no Muslims hiding their own religion. So I'm not hiding mine. And I'm very proud of this color. Very proud. And I don't have no problem whatsoever identifying myself with a lot of other people who would respect that treat me. Because I respect everybody else. That's the reason why it's a lot of, going to internet, you're going to find a lot of information about me. Because in Boston, I'm the one who, they knock on the door, all the papers, find out details. All these students come to me to get information about religion. I'm not charging you. Come over, come in a specific hour, and I give you an hour. And we sit down and we talk. It's important. Look all the communication that we done out there. We had a beautiful talk. Okay? And I'm very happy to meet my brother here. Yeah.
So, Baba Steve, before I open up the floor for conversation, I want to bring us back to your final point and the topic of your talk, the coronation of the poor, the upward social mobility of people and things in Cuban American Ocha. We brought two royal goddesses who didn't start out humble and poor. They have always been rich and powerful.
They all were poor, and before they had their own, before they had their own land, their own position,
yes,
given by the Bacala, they was humble.
Yes.
Ochun, they gave them the job of being the water, sweet water. So the river she's in charge. Yemaya, she's the ocean. She is the most powerful woman in the earth. If we don't have no Yemaya, we will not be here, because Agayu will be the one who blowing the earth. We have to understand, when God created the whole earth, the one who came down to cool down the whole ground, this way we can actually have plants and eat and animals, and then we can born, that was Shemaiah. That is important, why that lady is so powerful. It's the 7 seas. If Yemaya get mad, she can take lands, raise it, and then come back. And that is to be respected. There are years where the Babalaos come with the opening of the year and they say, be careful with the ocean. Be careful with the storm. You see, because Yemaya is ruling this year and we have to respect her. Before we go into a cruiser, we have to ask if we should go on a cruiser or not. It is important. Because, we're talking about something happened, like that boat was going to Puerto Rico and got in the middle of the storm. First of all, that was stupid. If I be the captain, I would not get out of port knowing there is a storm in that area. That was a stupidity. But also at the same time, he was not a santero. He didn't know anything about it. He didn't really went into a Babalao or santero and find out I should be traveled, should be gone or not. And that is the facts. We have the crucial way of how to ask. Sometimes a student asks me what career I should be doing better. And it's the Lewa the one who's going to answer that. Tell me what you like, and let's ask the Lewa. Maybe you have to get some help from the Lewa. And majority of those who I have going to the Gulf for a fight, they don't have no choice. They have to pack up and go. But before they come to the Orishas and question what I have to have as a protection for me to come back alive. That is the credentials of that religion. And doesn't matter if you are a Haitian or you are a Afro-American or you are a father from Ireland or England or Jewish. Doesn't matter to me what you're coming from. This is the people's religion. We have to understand that.
By the people, you mean the humble people?
Everybody.
Everybody.
I mean, you can have a person who is a little raw because he had that kind of humanity way of how to act, thinking that they have everything in their hands or whatever, or they have a lot of education, and they don't communicate with other people because they don't have the same level. But anybody can go and break up a leg, and then later on they need help, to settle it. And what you're going to do is you're going to go into an Orisha and say, what I'm going to do? That I have to operate? And they will say, no, go to Babalua, yeah, let's get something done. Or let's go to Orula. And we do a ball. And that is what saved the person's life. I had people who had cancer, and they did a cleansing with Sarabanda, with mother water. 3 months later, after they did all the treatment, the doctor said the cancer is gone. It's not me. It's what they came into task for. Maybe we don't save everybody's life, but if we do save at least 10, 20%, I think that is what a doctor has in his figure.
So, Baba Steve, just to put a fine point on it, you told us a lot about how the ancestors can help you about how spirits that were humble and humiliated can heal you.
Yeah.
And how the prenda can protect you from envy.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to these royal wealthy gods, what you've said over and over again is that you can't get to them without going through the humble elegua. What does that mean? That
not only elegua, maybe the conguito, maybe your ancestor, grandmother, grandfather,
yes,
maybe an uncle who was a street guy. You never met him, he never met you in lifetime.
yes.
But maybe that spirit, if you give him light and elevation, he will help you the rest of your life. We have to really realize that when we die, someone in the family has to help us to elevate. No, we go in the ground and then we are warned. You know, I mean, that now a lot of people wants to be cremated. Don't cremate me, man. I'm paying for my insurance. I don't want nobody to cremate me. That's not kosher in this religion.
Why?
Because you're supposed to go to the ground. That's where you're supposed to go. In this religion, we born out of the ground and we die in the ground. Now the cremation is cheaper, so we can have all the ashes, and you're not going to convert me like a agayu, no.
Now what I was getting at, and just help me to understand if this is what you were saying.
Yeah.
I think you told me last night that in order to reach the rich, powerful gods, Ochu and Oya, for example,
Anybody,
any of them,
Chango,
you still have to go through the most humble and poorest spirit. Is that what you were teaching me?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first orisha in everything in this religion. As a matter of fact, when I do a consultation with the Dilobun, and he is the one who sent me to Saravana.
Who did?
Elewa sent me to Saravana. Elewa sent me to the spirits. Feed your ancestors. Take care of them. When you cook a plate, put a little plate for your ancestors. They're going to be grateful. I mean, where they are, they're not going to be no bandanos in the way. So we have to take care of them. This is one thing that we have to learn. They are right or wrong.
Melanie?
That's not the same culture back home.
Yes, it is.
The ancestorship is important there. The
Ancestors
Ngugu,
are important.
they even do festivity for them.
Every
They do
year.
ceremonial to the Ngugu. They remember their own ancestors. And sometimes when they die and they are involved in the religion, the family and the family receive some of the
Yes, they do.
the orishas.
Well, with that, Baba Steve, would you be willing to take some questions and discussion?
Is it a worship service where the masses come together and sing and encourage one another?
In the mass,
Is there a worship service where they come? I hear they go to the priest, but is there a worship where they come? The numbers
that's what
come?
we're trying to organize.
Amen.
And I think that what all this talk is telling us, that we should have a temple.
Also no temple.
No temple. Our temple is our home.
Okay.
We don't have no full foundation giving us donation to maintain the temple.
But these gatherings do happen with people coming together, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
The most important thing is that we learn today is that ancestors have to be taken care of by white pagan. We have to find someone who is a medium. That's what we call a medium. Person who mounts himself with the spirits, and he can talk about everybody's problem. And that is an ancestorship table that you can bring in the spirit that belongs to you, and it can give you a message. Sometimes you have a lot of problems and you don't know why you got them, and that is because maybe your grandfather wants to be attended. They're taken care of. And my lecture here today is for people, the young people. The old people, we all understand all this, but the young ones, the majority of the time, the young ones do not be in the custom of doing what we need to do. See, so when we die, who is going to take care of us? That's the reason why in this religion, when you die, you have to do an itutu. That is a ceremonial for the dead person, the dead santero. And then you have to question each of the religions, if it goes with the santero, or go to the river, go to the forest, go to the ocean. That is perhaps that's the reason why I don't understand why going to burn me out, after you're going to do it. No, that doesn't make no sense. You're going to put Obacala in my coffin and you're going to burn him out. Doesn't make any sense. That is what is insane in this situation. But the money, the economy is making us all this. Because it costs so much money to burn, to bury anybody, now we have to go into that situation. But my recommendation, no matter what town is, it started with 3 or 4. We call it white table. We put a cup of water, okay? We put some flowers, okay? And we get either a Bible or a prayer book. And we call by reading the prayer book to the ancestorship. And then whoever has the spirit, you're going to find people who don't know they have the capacity of mounting with the spirits. And there is where you learn. Majority of the time people say, oh, I get dizzy, and I thinking that I have someone following me, I mean, that is the reason, because you have a spirit who is behind you. Sometimes it's not an evil spirit, and sometimes it's a family member. Or maybe it could be a conguito, one of those niggas. It's important to know this. This may be perhaps the most important thing in the class today. To organize. You have some priests over here, so maybe you can make arrangement with them, and create a white table and sit down, and that we all need that. I need that every month in my house. And I reunion a group of 8 or 10 or 12 of my followers, and they're already working on their own spirits. It's important. It's like when we go into the church and we all concentrate to reading the Bible. And then you see some people mounting themselves, they say they have the blessing of Jesus, or sometimes it happens in our white table. And majority of the time the spirit is welcome that ceremony. Every ceremony, doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if it's a black and white or Chinese. I don't care. I had a Japanese godchild. Yeah. And he was glad to get into this. Now he moved to California. That he calling me every once in a while, I'm missing you, so I say, keep on tracking.
One thing I've noticed, Baba Steve, is even when a person is white and they think of all of their ancestors as white, they often have a black spirit who is protecting them, right?
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. I mean, sometimes it's the connection in the house where you are practicing the religion. It's like her mother, her godmother is a white Jewish woman. And she's a santera. She's a daughter of Obacala. And she is into this religion for years. She's been involved even in Africa.
This is Ava's godmother?
Yeah. Bacha. I know her very well. She was crowned 1 year before with my son, my grandmother.
I think we have another question.
I have a question. You started out at the very beginning by saying the first Babalaos that came over here in the 50s or so, where you had the opportunity of being around some Babalaos that were unified. But today, there seems to be a change. Can you explain why, or maybe give us some insight as to why there's division? And the second part of my question has to do with the relationship between the Orisha here and the Palo, because you've integrated, but they can't live in the same room.
No.
No.
Because that is a spiritual, that comes from another
Religion. The Palo.
version of Africanism.
African.
That is, they
Right.
come from Congo.
Right.
And the Orishas come from, majority of the time, from Nigeria and Benin.
Right.
That is the two most important, because there was Yoruba nation. So they captivated them and they put them in a boat and they brought it into the New World and they sold us like cats and dogs. It's okay, and I'm going to pressure who did it and whatever, but it's done. It was done. So that is the story. It's all written down there.
That's how we got to meet.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
get to me?
But the whole story of the Babalaos,
Yeah.
I was very proud of knowing the oldest. I'm talking about the first in United States. In United States. Bebo Morales, Pancho Mora. He was the first. Pancho Mora was the first. He is the one who created the society in New York of Santeria. It is important to know that, because today we're practicing a lot of this religion and we don't know where was the beginning. It's always we have to, when we moyuba, we have to moyuba, that is praying for the ancestorship, and we have to moyuba for all those old people. It's like when we have a family who passed away, we have to call them when we moyuba. They are the one who's going to help us out. When we're reading the shells and we're throwing the coconut, we have to moyuba. That's called moyuba. Moyuba is to call the ancestorship. Could be ancestors from the family, could be ancestors from the religion. It is important to remember that.
So do you want to say anything about the division that was asked about?
Yeah, I think the division begins what we are talking about happened with me. I met my brother here now, and I don't have no thinking about being scared of him. Okay? But it's a lot of people in areas like New York, New Jersey. You go into Florida, it's a battlefield. They're fighting each other. And they're fighting each other for power. And that is the answer. And someone has intelligence and knowledge, but others not knowing enough. So the one who is bigger wants to eat the smaller. That's what happened. And sorry to say, but that happened in every religion. Mm-hmm. In any religion, even in Baptist church, they have fight. They have a church in New York City, they have a Baptist church in one corner, and in the other corner is Episcopalian. And they're fighting each other for the same amount of people to come over and pray. And if you have Jehovah's Witnesses, they hate everybody else. So they're fighting each other like crazy.
And they're always worried about whose wife is sleeping with the pastor.
Yeah.
Those churches seem to break up over that issue. Yeah, that's very common.
Yeah.
And whom the pastor is sleeping with is the
And
source of the biggest conflict.
they tell you how much you.
Am I telling the truth?
How much is your salary a year? How much is your salary a year? You have to give to the church X amount of money of your salary. Well, what is this? If I do that in my church, if I do that in my house, they will burn my apartment. Can you imagine that you have to, the Jewish people do that? You have to give X amount of money. If you're in business or you are in salary, you have to give, it's a due to maintain. Then you see the rabbi or the preacher has a Cadillac, a brand new Cadillac parked in the front of the house, in front of the church. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is the reason why the humbleness of this religion. This is started from slavery. So you cannot, I mean, this religion is a stone and water. You can imagine it, you go to church and they have gold, silver, wonderful art and the roof, you know. But who paid for it? You know, when you sit down there, they pass the basket, you know, to your nose, and you have to come out with your pocket, you know.
Okay, but Steve, pardon me for a redirect, but I hear you teaching the message of humility and giving what is due to the small guys so that you get your own. But the things that I have been most attracted to in Santeria, as you know, are these rich, beautiful objects. like Ochun's Tinaja, and last time I was in Union City, I found this capa de San Lázaro. That means it's got humble cloth inside, but on the outside they put this rich, beautiful lace.
Yeah.
So, am I thinking in the wrong direction when I look at Santeria and I?
No. I mean, today we're not in the time where we are slaves, and we can spend maybe $50 to dress up our orishas. You see, in the old time, people used clays, and in Africa they use calabash. That's it.
And what?
Calabaza.
Calabaza.
Yeah.
Calabash.
Calabash. And today we use it as a drummer too, like a instrument. Chekere, what we call chekere. But I have a sarabanda in a room that the cauldron is this big. For me to carry, I have to get 3 niggas to lift them up. All right, it's powerful.
Yes.
So I have to take care of business with him every year for him to be powerful to work, to solve people's problems.
Some people say that, like Matanza style is very simple but powerful, but that things like that Tinaja are Havana style, where you show wealth and luxury. And some people think that the habaneros are missing the point.
No.
Do you agree? No.
Cuba, there are people here who go to Cuba every year, but not me. I'm not agree with what happened to my brothers and sisters in Cuba. They've been oppressed by a government of communism. And if we are in the United States, we have to understand, we have to let people know that what is happening in Cuba, whatever is going now with the relationship open, they're going to go right into the government, not to the people. We have to put that clear. There's still people hungry in the island, and they're protesting because they don't have no money, they don't have no food, no job. So when they protest, they arrest them, they hit them, and they put them in jail. And if you talk about against the government, they give you from 20 to 40 years. So think about all those people that have here even voted in the next couple of weeks. We don't have no vote in Cuba. I'm very much into that idea. I don't go to Cuba until I see those 2 cacamemis in the ground. That is one thing that we have to learn. That he probably working with this to protect himself. That is the only thing that I have put in my mind. He probably sleeping with a cauldron of sarabanda. Why not? Find a babalao coming to have breakfast in his house every day. Yeah.
Baba Steve, will you take just one or two more questions?
I have a couple of students who may need to leave though also.
Understood.
So, just so you know.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to wrap up.
Any question?
Any other questions?
Anything that is important to you?
You said that you were told they don't pay you enough, so I'm saying, do they pay you or do they bless you when you get help? When the individual comes with a problem? Is it, do you tell them what to bring for a sacrificial?
Sometimes takes a fruit
Okay.
to come over into an oricha
Uh-huh.
and a candle
Okay.
and a derecho, whatever it costs. If it's a tune, it's supposed to be $15 or $20. If it's a batala, it's $24.
Okay.
Sometimes with a fruit or a yam or 2 coconuts, you solve a lot of problems. Okay. So this is what I'm saying.
Well,
This is a poor people's religion.
mm-hmm.
And doesn't matter if you have a salary of $100,000 a year. I don't care. But I'm not going to charge you more because you charge me more. You know what you have to do is if you get what you want from what you request, you have to remember me.
Yeah.
That is what was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I will open my door for anybody, no matter what time it is. I just traveled here, and I have one goddaughter who I consulted her sister about a month ago, and I told her, be careful with your son. He's on the street with the wrong people. And I was in the airport waiting for the plane, and her sister called me, told me that her son got killed. Now I know they're gonna say, why didn't you tell me? Yeah, I told you. What you have to do is go into the orishas, and tell your son to leave the stupid street and leave all those friends that you have. And that's happening everywhere. So you don't have to tell me that I have to tell you exactly how he's gonna die and when he's gonna die. That's nonsense. We have to understand that we're all sitting here with the same purpose. This is a wonderful college. And where he was before was the harbor of the world. Now you people are rich because you have them here.
Well, with that, Baba Steve, we want to thank you very much for a wonderful presentation.
Make an announcement about Saturdays for those who are attending Saturdays.
Yes, is everybody interested in coming?
And
Okay, there will be a ceremony tomorrow, parts of which,
Saturday.
Excuse me, so Saturday, which is in 2 days. We're going to be making the warriors. Those who are initiated may come to the room where it will be happening. And if you come, please do wear white. And you might want to bring
some fruits or bottle of rum, some vegetables, some malangas, yucas, coconuts. That is what the Orisha will appreciate.
And one second. So, would you like to say about those who are not initiated, whether they're permitted to come and will be permitted to stay in the living room, and whether
they should be in the room, in the living room. Those who has warriors could be in the room when we're doing the ceremony. But being that this is actually what he's receiving, I'd rather have only those who are crowned, those who has received Ocha. Because I'm keeping my secret, in the way that it's supposed to be working.
And do you want to say something about La Cosa Mensual? La Cosa Mensual.
Those women who has the period, they cannot be in front of the regents. That's one taboo that is we cannot hide it. That is one important part because it's not only an offense to the Orisha, but also is a protection for the woman who has the privilege. This religion eats blood. If a woman has a menstruation, can have a
Hemorrhage.
and it can be a problem. So that is one thing they have to be told. I mean, I tell everybody in my house.
So again, it doesn't mean you can't be at the house, you just can't be in the room.
Yeah. Well, the majority of the time, people are going to be in the living room and waiting until we do the ceremony, and then they can come over and salute. But those who has that situation, it's respectively, it's good to respect the Orisha.
So if you're going to come, please let me know so we'll make sure we have enough food and drinks for everybody to be comfortable.
What time?
At 2.
Oh, at 2.
Yeah, we'll start at 2. And I'm at 1014 West Markham Avenue.
Congratulations for your intervention now. And voy a decir la otra parte en español. Es muy importante saber que en estos momentos la afrodescendencia y la humanidad están en un nivel de apertura y de relación donde todas estas cosas tienen que ver mucho para el bienestar de toda la gente, para eliminar cosas pasadas, malas interpretaciones, visiones, para ser uno un poco más abierto a entender la vida y no llegar a un lugar y a lo mejor asustarse porque se ve una sopera o porque se ve algo. Esto no es solo una religión, es más que una religión, es una cultura. Y es una cultura que nace conforme nacieron los humanos. Y ante los 10 primeros días, las madres cuando iban a tener un hijo, la madre iba con el padre a registrar y consultar para ver por la mano de ella que lleva su niño, para darle el tratamiento al niño.
¿Y cuál es el futuro
del futuro del niño? Hay 256 ordus que marcan la vida de las personas. 256 ordus que marcan la vida de las personas. Con la relación de que cada ordus tiene un ordus, 2 ordus que acompañan, que son los ordus testigos de las personas. Para mirar de manera integral, como si fuera un triángulo, lo que está en el entorno de la persona. Ese estudio, que resulta por demás a veces previsor de saber las enfermedades, y lo bueno y lo malo que puede hacer una persona, porque hay quien dice tranquilamente, el niño le gusta encaramarse y bueno, pero déjalo, pero hay quien no puede, porque en su astral está, que tiene que cuidarte de esto, y hay quien no puede hacer otra cosa, hay quien no puede desafiar la profundidad, porque se va a ahogar y se va a morir. ¿Y por qué no saberlo? ¿Y por qué no saberlo? Porque hay que evitar cosas, tal y como cuando va a llover. When it's possible to rain, do you have one umbrella and is control for the rain? But in the life is similar to, it's necessary to look for the future.
And another thing, we are in towns right now where tornadoes, thunder, storms, floods, fire, everything is happening every
And
day.
envy too.
Yeah.
Mira,
It has to be careful.
y culmino diciendo que esta es una carrera complejísima, más de 64 tomos así existen y hay que estudiarlo, y hay que estudiar una cultura que es inmensa, y que tiene muchísimas alternativas.
So to summarize, you really don't understand
Y los primeros mandatarios, sobre todo,
para
sí, resumiendo, los primeros mandatarios y muchas personas que se pasaron la vida diciendo que no, diciéndole no a esta religión, son los que más controlaban precisamente ese poder y son los que más se aferraban. Y la gente con poder más se aferraba a tener poder precisamente a través de todo esto.
Y ahora se creen superiores a nosotros.
Okay.
So what he was saying in sum is it's
Acendo raggio vuole te a un sembro non cadi con quello che so volete vuole te
You can't
It's great that there's a new openness about these traditions, so that people just don't unknowingly fear it, that it's a culture and not simply a religion, and that there are 256 Odu that can be used to read a person's life from the moment of birth and know what the potentials are and what the negative possibilities are that one can protect against. And some very powerful people, the ones who are most persecuted, are also people who take advantage of it.
And this passage that she asking me about Ifa and the Babalao, you're going to have to really understand there are all kinds of Babalaos. But supposed to be a Babalao is supposed to be the same as every other, but sometimes they're not working that way. So what you have to do is you got to find out the right house, and you see the decency in there, and then you participate in it. It is important.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions about the sacred objects, let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions.